Hello everyone, GoodraFTW here, and welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be taking a look at the Road Ahead post that was on the forums site. I'm highlighting everything. Okay, so this is on the Galaxy of Heroes forums. You can see here we have a post from CG Carey posted on January 31st. So it says, "Hello Holotable Heroes. After an exciting end of the year with the release of Grand Arena, C-3PO, and Han's Millennium Falcon, the Capital Games offices are bustling again with plans for the upcoming quarters. We spent much of the past few months focusing on the roadmap, including a bold and somewhat audacious 5-year vision. But as always, I'm here to talk a little bit about the next couple of months. When we sit down to plan the next year's roadmap, one of the key things that we focus on is learnings from the previous one. Since so much of the core of the game is collecting and strategizing with the iconic characters and ships from the Star Wars universe, we're constantly learning and, when necessary, adjusting the way we release them, especially the types of events we run and their cadence." So right there, she's referencing last year, the kind of overabundance of marquee events and marquee characters and how everyone kind of got burnt out on them. So to continue, it says, "To ensure that we bring you awesome new Star Wars content in a way that feels balanced, fair, and allows you to really dig in and enjoy each moment, we're continuing to work on the balance between marquees, reworks, achievement characters, more of that in a moment, and legendaries, heroes' journey, ancient journeys, etc., etc." Okay, so it seems like they want to balance more of how characters are released, which is really good. So it says, "While we are finessing the delivery systems, we also want to try a couple of different formats. To that end, we will be releasing the Emperor's Command Shuttle in a new event called the Galactic Chase." So here we have our first new thing that they have on the table for us in 2019, and that is the Emperor's Command Shuttle. So this is like the three-wing thing that basically, I think it's in the beginning of episode 6 that the Emperor comes on to the new Death Star in, right? So it's iconic. If you go look it up, you'll see it. It's pretty, like, you'll know what I'm talking about, right? So it says, "This event will take place on one of the Cantina holotables, as the command shuttle will be immediately released to specific nodes there. This will allow you to earn shards of the ship while accruing other resources and completing daily activities that you would already be doing anyway on these nodes. We hope that you enjoy the way this celebrates the arrival of a new ship without requiring a separate energy grind." So it sounds like what they're going to do is they're just releasing this ship onto already existing nodes, and it's going to change to different nodes during different time periods. I don't know if it'll be daily, weekly, monthly, right? But while it's on that specific node, you farm it there. You'll get character shards for whatever other characters on that node as well. So it says, "Alongside this and more traditional events, we'll be introducing more achievement-based characters this year. They may show up as actual achievement rewards or in currency shops, such as Wampa and Hermit Yoda. We'll be able to talk more about that in depth in the coming months." So this is referring to, as I said, Wampa and Hermit Yoda are specifically tied to guild events, but she's also referring to maybe as actual achievements. So the biggest character you get from achievements specifically is Darth Vader. Okay, so that'd be pretty cool to see who they can kind of round up into an achievement like kind of release pattern. So this next section here is about quality of life updates. So as always, we begin the year with a quality of life update. Many of the items that have populated our quality of life list comes from things we've seen you talk about on the forums, feedback we've received from customer satisfaction surveys, and the actual play patterns and feedback we see reflected in how you play the game. We also look for time-saving opportunities, as we recognize that subsequent updates often require an increased amount of time spent in the game. To that end, one of our big quality of life features this year is going to be raid simming. Not something I thought about, but it's cool nonetheless. If a guild has beaten the heroic Rancor raid a certain number of times and a to-be-determined number of guild members have Han Solo at 7 stars, the guild will be able to sim completion of the Rancor raid, and all guild members will receive equal rewards. While we are still tuning the exact rewards, the intention is to keep the inflow of rewards but allow guilds to enjoy the rewards and spend their time on new content without having to repeat the version of an event they've mastered. At this time, we're only activating raid simming on the Rancor, but we'll be able to explore adding it to the other raids at a later date. We should note that if for any reason you don't want to sim the Rancor, you always have the option to play through the way it is currently with the current reward distribution. To save players time and for convenience of squad selection and management, we'll be adding the squad management button to the character inventory screen. This will replace the buy data cards button that is currently there. Our data showed that that was the least used button on that screen. Once on the squad select screen, more information will be surfaced at the top level, including the character name in case you're having difficulty telling your Jawas apart, gear level, and a brand new shared indicator. This can be turned on from inside the character management pages, where you can indicate whether you want to be notified of any duplicate characters being used within a single tab. This will allow you to more easily use the tabs to fill out complete rosters for territory wars, battles, the raids, etc. We made similar functionality for mod loadout management as well. So right here, we actually have the names of each Jawa. It actually shows gear level here, which is actually pretty interesting. Right, so you're actually going to be able to make squads without having to go into some sort of battle, which is, it's time saving, yes, but I'll get to something after I finish this section. So it says, we are also excited to bring you changes to the in-combat buff debuff user interface. A new button has been added to the screen to allow you to quickly turn on or off the full buff display and reveal more of the screen. With it off, a few key buffs such as taunt, foresight, and unique buffs will be visible, but after a certain number of buffs have been applied, lower priority buffs will be collapsed behind an overall numeric indicator of the number of active buffs and debuffs. You can use the new toggle to expand the full buff list, or you can keep them hidden. You can also tap to expand or collapse individual character buff debuff lists. New buffs and debuffs will flash briefly before docking behind the minimized window. This feature is one of the items inside of our beta test that we are asking players to provide feedback on, and we will make modifications to the number of visible icons, which buffs are prioritized, and other factors based on how our beta testers respond. As always, if you're interested in becoming a beta tester, keep an eye on the official Star Wars Galaxy Fear forums for when we look for new candidates. So here is what they're talking about. So, right here is the icon that we will be able to tap. Okay, we can actually, I don't want to mess anything up. Right, so this is going to toggle the buff collapsing and whatnot. So it's going to indicate the most important buffs and debuffs. And these little arrows underneath, as it says here, indicates how many of, whether it's a debuff or a buff, that character has. So I'm guessing that it includes the ones already being shown total. Yeah, because right here we can see it's one buff, one debuff, and all Vader has is ability block and potency up here. So it is going to include all the debuffs they currently have on them. So right here we have 5, right? We have 3 damage over times, ability block, and buff immunity. Okay, so this is actually really cool. It's something I never thought about. I never really had much of a problem with all the buffs and debuffs on screen, but it does make sense because it is kind of cluttered on there. But this is a really cool feature that I think will actually be pretty beneficial in the long run. So it says, we are also looking to improve the matchmaking of the Grand Arena. One of the clearest improvements we could make based on the data from the first few runs is that when ships are not used in the Grand Arena, ship GP will not contribute to matchmaking. While we will not reveal all the components of the matchmaking formula, we will continue to adjust certain aspects and explain them when relevant. There are a number of other quality of life polish and bug fixes going into the update, which all be revealed in the patch notes on the official forums. Okay, so that last thing right there is in the Grand Arena, it's calculating like your total GP even if ships are not being used. So they're wanting to fix it to where ship GP is not calculated, so you actually get someone who has a similar power level of a collection to you, just based on the characters that are going to be used. So one thing I want to go ahead and point out is there's no mention of anything to do with ally points or bronze packs, which I think is more of a complaint. I don't know, maybe I'm just off on my own, but this has been a complaint for a long time, and I don't see why it's still not being addressed. So that's just something I want to go ahead and point out to you guys. So here's the next section, new content. So it says February is going to be differently themed than the past 2 years, as we are very excited to bring you Separatist droids. We've given a lot of attention to various aspects of the universe in the past 2 years, particularly the original trilogy and the Old Republic. With the return of the Clone Wars animated series, hashtag Clone Wars lives, we are excited to explore more content from the Clone Wars animated series. Okay, I'm happy that we're getting more prequel era content, but why does it have to be the Clone Wars? Why can't it be any of the movies? dear goodness, of all the prequel stuff we have, the majority of it is from this series. And I can't complain because it's more stuff that we don't have and probably need. But come on, CG. Just, oh gosh. Alright. This includes a marquee for the B1 battle droid, who will appear as a single unit on the battlefield, but whose abilities reflect the pervasiveness of the seemingly unending units behind it. So these are the droids that go Roger, Roger all the time. So this is really cool. Hopefully it has. I really hope it has an ability that references Roger, Roger. I just think it would be pretty awesome. So it says, additionally, we're going to be releasing the Droideka, the Shielded Destroyer droids, who combined with the B1, the rework of the B2 battle droid, and the rework of the Magna Guard, all serve at the behest of one particular droid commander. Right, so here we are referencing the one and only General Grievous. So General Grievous is getting a rework, and we are very excited to tie that into the rest of the Clone Wars droids in a way that fulfills the fantasy of the strategic separatist battlefield commander. That's all for now. There will be more information, as always, in the coming weeks if you hop on over to the official forums. Okay, so we have 2 new droids coming. We have reworks of 3 droids in the separatist faction. So this is actually really cool stuff, and I'm not going to complain about this. Because, I mean, it's kind of a meme at this point with Arnold, for sure. Like, rework Grievous. He made a whole rap video about it and everything. But I think it's really cool for them to be adding the droidekas. As you can see here, these are the B1 battle droids, right? And the B2s are obviously the super battle droids. And the Magna Guard, the ones with the electro staffs. Okay, so this is actually going to be really cool to see this month. So I'm very excited for everything we're going to get in February. Oh, at the end it says, you hear that, meat bags? I will be back. Okay, so that's from CG, Carrie Guskus, who's the senior producer. Okay, so a lot of people are thinking this is a reference to HK47, who likes to use the term meat bags when talking to non-droid people, characters. Okay, so like I said, very, very cool stuff coming up in this month. A lot of things that they have on the table is going to be really cool. I really hope that, like, one of the things they haven't revealed is the whole Bronzium ally point thing, because that is, like, one of the biggest complaints that has been around for the longest time, right? Probably since before mods were even released and mod management was a big issue. But let me know what you guys think of all the stuff we're getting, starting off the year strong, pretty much. Okay. Let me know what you guys want to see and what you think of all the reworks. Hopefully we'll be able to bring you some of these characters whenever they come. Hopefully they're not behind too big of a paywall or any kind of like difficult barrier to kind of overcome. But that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe so you don't miss any more Galaxy of Heroes content. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.